Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to The Nest. It's August 6th, 2020, and we're streaming live with participants from Africa, North America, Europe, and around the world. For those of you joining for the first time, I'm Jim Chu in San Francisco, California, and our goal here on The Nest is to connect entrepreneurs in frontier markets with angel investors worldwide. We stream live every Thursday, and all episodes are recorded and available on our website, findthenest.org. Today, we have two exciting companies from West Africa, one with a platform that puts your chores on autopilot, and another providing cooperative banking for SMEs in Africa. We'll hear all about them in a second, but before that, let me introduce our partner for this week, Agnes McKenna from Intellicap, an impact investment advisory group serving Africa and Asia. Agnes, welcome to The Nest.
Hi, Jim. Thank you so much. I hope you can hear me, and I hope everyone's doing well. My name is Agnes McKenna, and I'm a senior associate working with Intellicap. Intellicap is a business consulting and financial advisory services company that's also part of a bigger group of companies called the Avishka Group. Our focus sectors are financial services, healthcare, agriculture, clean energy, and livelihoods, of course, taking a strong gender lens in all of these sectors. We are an ecosystem enabler trying to build the entrepreneurship ecosystem rather, across the global south. So Southeast Asia and Africa. And over the years, sorry, I seem frozen. Can you hear me, Jim?
We can hear you fine, yes.
Oh, great, thank you. So we take an ecosystem approach in supporting our enterprises, and this is through bridging the knowledge gaps that exist. Facilitating capital, as well as building networks. And so over the years, we've worked with over 1,800 companies in our markets. We've also supported these companies through capacity building and providing business advisory support that's necessary for them to grow. But as we all know, knowledge in itself is not enough, and finance is very catalytic to the scale of these businesses. And so we started the Intellicap Angel Investment Network, where we focus on facilitating transactions that are hourly ticket size between $50,000 to $1 million.
50 million
and so far, and so far we've transacted over 1.3 million conducted deal closures here within the continent. And towards building the entrepreneurial community in our markets, we started Sankalp, which I think is what we're very well known for in the market. And so through Sankalp, we bring together over 1,000 delegates each year across India, Kenya, and also hosted one in the Netherlands. We wanted for our stakeholders to be able to have conversations, network, and also sort of get to know each other and continue to create an enabling environment for our entrepreneurs to thrive. And so having this incredible platform and convening this great stakeholders, we decided to showcase some of the brilliant innovators that we have on the continent, and have showcased enterprises each year and facilitated deals and provided opportunities for these entrepreneurs to meet investors and other stakeholders within the ecosystem, of which Riby is actually one of them. So we're very excited to be seeing them pitch today. And interestingly enough, we've also seen Elara Health pitch on this platform, who are also a previous Sankalp Awards winner. So thank you so much for this opportunity, Jim. We're very excited.
Thank you, for joining us.
Yeah, I'm personally a huge fan of The Nest. I've been attending so many of this, and so I'm very excited to actively participate today.
And I hope we'll be able to do something together for Sankalp, a live hybrid virtual session with The Nest. So I'm looking forward to the next Sankalp where we can do that. Wonderful. Well, glad to be working with you. So now I'd love to introduce an important new addition to the Untapped Nest team. I'm very pleased to announce that Kian Kasari has joined us as General Manager of The Nest. He'll be leading our efforts under The Nest to connect startups with investors from all over the place. So Kian, please tell us a little bit about yourself and some of the future sessions you'll be putting together for us.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining. Really exciting. I've been following The Nest, and now I'm very honored to be managing the nest. Basically, my role will be to handpick some of the best founders, like today, two of my brothers, and also pick the right partners and do the matchmaking. My day job is I'm a senior associate at Lateral Capital, which is a 50 million Pan-African fund. We invest from C to Series B. I'm also an angel investor, and I really love this idea of connecting emerging markets to investors worldwide. So what you can expect in the next episode, so we have we have episodes every Thursday. The next one is going to be in partnership with Lofty Inc. It's going to be Nigerian startups that we handpicked for you. And then we have 1 week of break, and we're going to get back in September with another episode in partnership with Wharton Africa, and another one on September 10th in partnership with the MEST. So tune in and you will receive everything on our mailing list. Thank you.
And I think there's 2 weeks of break because I really need a vacation personally. So I hope there's a 2-week break.
On the Anglophone, there is 2 weeks break, but we have one.
Right. There's a French. Yes. And tell us about the French nest. Not everybody here knows it, but if you speak French.
Also speak or understand French, or even you want to learn French, you can tune in. And it's going to be on August 19th. With a partner from Madagascar. So August 19th, a Francophone episode. And you can find them on our LinkedIn page, Twitter page, and everywhere else.
Fabulous. I mean, I like the fact that there's so many undiscovered companies in the Francophone world. So I'm hoping that we can discover some of them on the Nest and bring them to the fore. Wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Kian, and welcome to the Untapped team. Now let's cover some technical tips and get started. So for those of you in the audience, we really want to hear from you. This is an interactive forum, and we've really left it open on purpose for questions and comments. So please use that chat box. Use that chat box to, Use that chat box to ask questions, to make comments, even make investments. Use it, interact. In the meantime, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do, which country you're from, and what brought you to the Nest. So, and I think we also have a poll about where everybody's from, if we want to launch that poll very quickly. Okay, well, while that's getting launched, let's introduce the angels. Ben, welcome to the Nest. Would you like to start first with introductions?
Sure, yeah. My name is Ben Munoz. I am here in Austin, Texas. I am co-founder of an e-commerce company called Nadine West. I'm also a co-founder of a nonprofit, a healthcare nonprofit called Ben's Friends. And then before that, I have a background in medicine, an MBA, and software. I was a software programmer for a few years. Good to meet you all.
So what you're saying is you're a real entrepreneur. You're a doctor, you're a software developer, and now you're in women's fashion. That's a great combination.
And I'm and I'm new to investing as an angel. So I think my value might be more on the operations and operating and the entrepreneurship side. So
great,
happy to
wonderful,
there.
Glad to have you. Just tell us a tiny bit about what Nadine West does and how you started it.
Yeah, so Nadine West is a personal subscription service, a personal styling service for women in the United States. You may know our primary competitor, Stitch Fix. They're very well known here in the United States. I think what's probably most unique about how we started is very scrappy. We did not go and raise a ton of money. And so that's why I'm really excited to talk to today's entrepreneurs, because I want them to know that capital should not be a barrier. You can do amazing things with no capital. So in the beginning, as I told Jim in a previous call with him, it was hard, but it was exciting. I lived in my car for a month. I slept on the warehouse floor for 6 months. I had lots of adventures. And I think those early days really shaped the DNA of the company today. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm so happy we chose that path.
Bravo. Bravo. Great. Well, welcome to the show, and I'm glad you're here. Jenny, welcome.
Hi, how are you? Excited
Good,
to be here. Awesome. I'm Jenny Fielding. I usually live in New York, but I'm actually in California right now. taking a little break from what's going on there. And my day job is at Techstars. So I run Techstars New York City. We're an early stage accelerator and venture capital fund, investing globally. And about 3 years ago, I started my own little fund. I was a pretty active angel investor. So now I run my own pre-seed fund focused on specific geos. I've been fascinated with, with all things entrepreneurship, mostly in Nigeria, and I've invested in 4 Nigerian companies, including one that's going through my current batch.
Fabulous. So you should definitely join us next week for the Nigeria focus session.
Awesome.
As well. Excellent. And so how many companies overall in Africa have you invested in?
Really all the companies, well, maybe I have one in South Africa. So I think I've invested in 5 companies in South Africa. And globally, I've invested in about 145. So
wow. Okay.
Pretty active investor.
Great. And I'm glad you're here in Africa. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us. Michael or Mikhail. I think you're on mute.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim. Great to be here. Very inspiring stories from Ben and Jenny. Similar track here. So born and raised on the continent, West Africa, educated in Europe and the States, engineer by training, worked in corp dev and biz ops at enterprise Fortune 500 company. So mostly focused on energy and clean tech. And have been actively angel investing since 2014 on the continent. And yeah, I've been working on basically investing full-time as a job. And so we invested so far in a general partner at P1 Ventures, Pamoja, and invested in 5 African companies, Nigeria, Tanzania, Kenya, and Algeria. Very excited to be here and feel grateful to have great entrepreneurs on the line too.
Great. And so you're a pre-seed fund, did I understand that correctly? Or
it's pre-series A. So we
A.
can come in as early as pre-seed, and we've looked at pre-series A company like seed stage. Absolutely.
Gotcha. And you'll be writing some checks today, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm always writing checks, so very excited to listen about exciting opportunities.
Well, great. Well, thank you very much for being here and taking the time. So we have the results of the poll. Should we put that up as we go over to the presenters? Salami, Nad, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Well, so before we get started, let's go over the rules. So each of you will have 5 minutes. That's 5 minutes to present, and then another 15 or 20 or so for questions and hopefully some discussion on a deal. So we will cut you off at 5 minutes, so please help us respect the time so we can have a good discussion. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and then we're going to go over to Salami from Riby, who will talk to us about cooperative banking for SMEs in Africa.
Good afternoon, everybody, and quite excited to be here. Hi, Ben, Michael, and okay, so primarily what we have seen is that a lot of people, there are 2 primary problems. The first is that people do not even have the right access to financial services, right? So either they don't have savings accounts. Of course, Facebook is trying to do Libra to make sure that everybody has access to accounts, access to mobile wallets, and so on and so forth. But that's the less problematic side of the whole situation. The more problematic side is the fact that they don't even have the resources to participate. They don't have enough income. They're not saving. They don't have access to credit, and so on and so forth. So in these 2 sides of the spectrum, what we have done is to build both the digital platform that they need to be able to participate in, having access to financial services, as well as them facilitating the financial services that they need. And I mean, one of the things we also realize is that a lot of these people already have some form of groups, either in their companies or their markets, their SMEs, or their individuals in the company that they participate in. So what we've done as a company is we built, a fantastic platform that enables, potentially up to 33 million Nigerians to literally within 5 minutes be able to access savings, loans, payments, or anything else. And hopefully during the question and answer session, I'll be able to show you what that platform looks like. It's fantastic. It's available over web, mobile, USSD. USSD is like, your $10 Nokia phones or $5 Nokia phones, and also via an agent point. The second thing, of course, is the last thing I mentioned, which is the agent point. So a lot of the people that don't have access to financial services can just walk to an agent, even if they don't have a phone, they don't have any device that they can use to connect to the internet. They can walk to the agent and they can get their savings, their loans, they can make a payment, and the likes. And the third thing is there are a lot of companies, like the World Bank or a Bank of Industry or a Bank of Agriculture or even commercial banks that want to reach a lot of the unbanked. We have about 60, 70 million unbanked people in Nigeria. They also need a digital platform to reach to these consumers. So we built a platform or an ecosystem that allows both the individuals and the groups to be able to access financial services, save, borrow, and pay for services. And then we built a platform that allows even those that don't have any form of device to be able to walk to an agent to access that device. And then companies that want to reach out to these people to be able to do that. And again, you see all of that here when I have time to show you a bit more about the platform. The agent app, the web app, and the mobile app for both the users and the group and the enterprise. Now, in the last 3 years, we've done this with very limited capital, about $1 million in total in investments. We've done $1.6 million in revenue. We have 5 million users on the enterprise side, people that have onboarded on the platform and tried to get access to services. 2.5 million of these people have successfully gotten access to one form of service or the other, especially credit. 2.5 million loans literally have been issued via our platform. We have 200,000 customers that we directly serve, on a one-on-one basis. And like I said, over 2 million transactions that we've supported, over 2,000 agents as well that currently use our app. And the goal for us is, again, like I said, two-sided problem. The first problem is even providing the access to even be able to do your transactions while not using, of course, they use paper and biro now. And then the second problem is them making sure that they have the real ability to participate in those financial services, savings, loans, and the likes of it. Like I said, last year, for example, we did close to $1 million in revenue. We've tripled our revenue every year for the last 3+ years. And our goal is to hopefully be able to continue to do that and get to about $4 million in annual revenue by 2023, sorry. We're a team of about 50 people. We have myself, my partner, Tosi, engineering team of over 20 people. And our ultimate goal is to do a fundraise of $2 million pre-Series A. So I'm hoping that Michael will open his pre-Series A wallet and do some spend. Again, we did a $2 million valuation in 2017 when we did a $300,000 raise, and our hope is to be able to do a $8 million cap with 15% discount for this round. Convertible notes, first close of $750,000, and we're asking the angels to give us $350,000 of this. A lot of that money is going to be going into product distribution and our operations and compliance. Thank you very much.
Great, right on time. Thank you very much, Lami. All right, over to the angels.
I'm happy to jump in. That was a great presentation. Thank you so much. Can you talk a little bit more about your customer acquisition strategy? How do you acquire customers, and what are the costs associated with that?
Thanks, Jenny. So we do primarily 3 things when it comes to customer acquisition. First, we have a lot of partners, so we have a very strong partner network. So for example, we're physically in 20 states here in Nigeria. We have agents, we have state coordinators. Most of these are all commission based. So if you bring a cooperative or you bring a company or you bring a customer, you get a portion of their subscription fees, or you make a portion of the transactions that they transact on the platform. So typically we do that. Second, we have a lot of direct marketing, online, social media. I get requests every day. Sometimes it's very hard to keep up. My partner runs our retail side of our business. I do the enterprise. So I'm always pushing the retail transactions to him. So we get a lot of inbound, online, emails. People just download the app and register themselves. And then third, we have a lot of more structured partnerships. For example, right now we've partnered with 3 banks, and the hope is to partner with every single bank in Nigeria. The banks, for example, a Union Bank has, they project that they have 10,000 cooperatives, but they don't have any single platform for them. So they have the your corporate internet banking platform, which companies can use. You have your individual platform, the mobile app that you and I use, but they don't have a platform like ours to give to their cooperatives. So we partner with the banks to sort of onboard their cooperatives on our platform. So there's a lot of inbound requests from the banks as well. So we're partnering with Union Bank, Providence Bank, Sterling Bank. We're talking to Zenith Bank, First Bank, pretty much all of the top 10 banks in Nigeria. And that's, an example of one of our strategies. The second side is also when we work with a lot of enterprise clients, like, for example, the Bank of Agriculture, the Bank of Industry, these guys also want to provide a lot of support to the groups or to the individuals, but they're not technology companies, right? So they're sort of giving the support, but using our platform, using our technology. That way, they provide the service to the groups, but they rely on our technology to do that. They brought the groups to us. The group now knows us and can continue using our platform even when, how do I put that? Several months after the enterprise have already gone and they're not giving them anything more. So those are the three ways in which we do a customer acquisition.
Great, thank you. I have a follow-up, but maybe I'll let someone else ask a question.
Thanks, Jenny.
Sure. I would like to know a little bit more about competitors. Maybe you can talk about competitors, present and future competitors. If I'm a cooperative, what are my options?
So if you're a cooperative today, you probably have about three software providers you want to go to from a digital services standpoint. You're probably using Riby or you're using one of the other Riby competitors. We're number one in Nigeria right now, but we have guys like Secat, we have Probity, you have SmartTeller, and you have the likes of them. Now, if you're an individual SME or individual in a group, you also can do a few things on the platform. So there are also options that could compete with you on that side. But a lot of the group-based, how do I put that? Group-based digitization of the groups, a lot of that comes from like similar software companies. Now, in terms of access to financial services, the first thing is that the groups themselves also provide themselves to financial service. Then they go to other players like banks who also want to give them additional financial services. So you either come through Riby to help you connect to the financial service provider. We support a lot of that. Or you can go directly to the financial service provider. But a lot of the financial service providers are finding it extremely difficult to lend to the groups because most of them, either use paper or they are not as organized. So they typically will say, hey, can you work with a Riby to be able to make it easy for me to lend to you? Credit score you, and so on and so forth.
Thank you.
Maybe one quick follow-up to Jenny and Ben here. Can you tell us more maybe about, the high-level cohort and like cohort analysis, retention rates, and on the B2C side, and then on the B2B, and I really like the dual prong approach. Like, how do you work out like unit economics? Do you have like a salesperson dedicated to like enterprise with all those partnerships?
So I didn't get the last part of the question, but just to answer the first part, which is sort of like the retention. We're yet to lose on the enterprise side customers who say, hey, I'm no longer interested in using your platform. I want to go and use another person's platform. I think we lost one customer, and it was more them wanting to build something for themselves. But a lot of the customers we have actually gone from using our platform for maybe one product to now using 4 different products on our platform, right? And on the retail side, again, it's a very early market. The entire market today that is digitized is probably 5% of the entire available market or total addressable market. So it's still very early to talk about losing customers to competition because there's probably 10 million people to be mainly onboarded, and we haven't even onboarded 1 million active customers. So it's still very early. We haven't lost any customer that we know except for maybe 2. There's one particular customer that wanted so much customization and wasn't willing to pay for it, and we didn't follow up. But most of the other users that we have been users. For example, some have 7 years of record on our platform. Some have been using our platform for 3 years, and we've been having constant upgrades on our software. I don't know if we had time to show you the platform. You wonder if that's a cooperative bank or a commercial bank app. It's better than most of the commercial bank apps here in Nigeria. Way better.
Thank you.
So that's pretty amazing not to have churn. That's a great indicator. Going back to the marketing question, any sense of you know, what your CAC is on the, you know, on the consumer side, and, you know, marketing kind of in this space tends to be crowded and expensive.
So could you take that again, Jenny?
Any sense of your customer acquisition costs, because marketing in this, you know, marketing in this space tends to be pretty noisy. What's your CAC?
So there are three types of customer, as I've explained. There's the sort of individual customers, and it probably cost us about $5 to acquire a group. And a group comes with about, on average, 50 to 100 customers. Some are small groups with 10 people, and some are very large groups with a few thousand people. And it costs about average of $5 to $10 to capture a group. Now, again, the process of capturing the group can be more expensive. We can do a $100,000 campaign and get maybe 1,000 groups. But in terms of a group by group basis, $10 to $20 for each group. On the enterprise side, that's a slightly bigger cycle. It's usually anywhere from 2 weeks to 2 months in terms of closing a new enterprise customer. And of course, that cost of acquisition is a little bit more complex from an enterprise standpoint, because there are like several people involved in an enterprise sale. I mean, recently we have a couple of states saying, hey, can you digitize the entire state's cooperative? And we have 2 states now that we're about to sign an MOU with, and literally onboarding the entire cooperative in the entire state. One of them took us 2 years to convince, but the actual convincing process, thanks to COVID-19, took 2 weeks. You know, they realize now that they have to go away from paper and go to more digital process. So 2 of the Southwest states are now onboarding our platform, all of the cooperatives in the state as much as possible. And then the third one is on the agent side. The interesting thing for the agent side is that the cost of acquisition, I mean, we haven't really boiled it down to a final number, but it pays for itself, because it costs about, I don't know, $50 to $100 for an agent to onboard if they're going to use a POS terminal. But if they're using a regular app, it's zero. It doesn't cost them anything. But that, I'll probably put that, we have about 2,000 agents, and we've spent about 50 million naira on agents. So that comes to about $10 as well to onboard an agent. And we make about that amount every month from every agent.
So there's a related comment related to customer acquisition from Kambale Tayo from the Africa Social Financing Center. This is very scalable. Congrats. Please consider offering equity to the financial institution to not only raise funds, but also lock them into the platform and proactively fend off competition. Now, that's an interesting idea. But that was something that Kambale Tayo suggested. All right, please, anything else? Any other comments or questions from the angels?
I have a question. Okay, so this sounds like a guaranteed winner, right? But imagine an alternative universe in which it did not work out. In that alternative universe, what happened? What went wrong?
In the alternative universe where it doesn't work out, what do we do wrong? What did we do wrong, or what would we need to do wrong for it not to work out? Yeah, yes, our technology will have to be shit. The market will have to be COVID times 5. And everybody that speaks to us would give us $0 and say, you guys are, you know, bunch of crap. I don't think this is scalable. I don't think you can acquire 1 million customers who you can make $5 to $10 from every year. Or we can't achieve any of the objectives of every people save, every people buy a home, or everyone access credit. If you can't do any of those 3 things we promise to do, even if it's to 10,000 customers, then nothing, like, please don't give us your money. But if we're able to do any of that, then definitely yes. One thing I'd love to do is show you the login page of the platform, even if that's all I can do. But I think you need to stop sharing. I don't know if I've answered Ben's question. Jim, do I still have 2 minutes?
Yes, you do. You still have 2 minutes. And Gabriel, if you can stop sharing that screen, then I think Salami wants to put something up. Thank you.
Fantastic. So that's my wonderful Android app. And that's our app. So Ben, I hope I answered your question. So that can easily go wrong if, you know, Corona continues and no agents on the field, and we can't do all the things we promised, and we can't help people save, we can't help them access credit, and we can't help them instantly be able to do transactions within 5 minutes of them meeting any of our agents, then we would have failed, and all of this won't work. Of course, it took us 3 years to get our app to this point. Now, if I had created an account, this is where I will get to. And this is me without Even if I don't have a phone, I have a simple phone. I can do this at an agent point. Now I've logged into the app. This is my account. I can fund my wallet. I can withdraw my money. I can check my history. I can see how much I have in my wallet, in my Riby account wallet. If I'm a part of a cooperative, then I can go into my co-banking cooperative app, and I can see all of my savings, right? I can see my contributions, how much money I've saved. I can see all of those details. And this is me going from not having a bank account to instantly being able to receive money from my friends or family, send money to them, request for credit. There's one thing I'd love to show you, which is the process of applying for a loan. And I can come here and I can say what loan options are available to me. And this is my first time. I don't have any bank account before now. I don't have anything else, and I can apply for that loan in a very simple process. So that's the app. It's pretty straightforward. Either you're an individual or you're a group, you can literally become banked within 5 minutes. I mean, of course, if you already have all of your information, like your first name, your last name, if you have a phone number, if you don't have a phone number, we'll issue you some sort of validation ID, which is an NFC card, and then the entire process goes as such. So you've gone from not having a bank account, not being able to save, not being able to make payment for anything, so now you can do all of that within 5 minutes, and it's all guided by the cooperative regulation. And in the future, you'll be able to do things like, coming soon, a discovery where you'll be able to buy HMO, get access to pension, invest in maybe a federal government bond, and all of that literally from 5 minutes ago, you didn't even have a bank account. And that's what we're really trying to build.
So Raj Kulasingham from the UK wants to make money. So his question is, what and when and how is the exit?
3 to 5 years, and we see 2 types of exits. Now, this is our 4th full year, so 3 to 5 years will get us to the point where we are 8, maybe 10 years old. And 2 types. We see an acquisition. I mean, InterSwitch is becoming the biggest fish in the biggest whale in the ocean. Maybe they see a big market in the untapped market. They're already looking into the financial inclusion space. They're not I don't think they're top 5, so maybe we could make them top 3 in that space. Or any other bank, or maybe Facebook thinks that Libra, they can just use our platform and Libra can take over that. It's possible, acquisition is possible. And the second is the Nigerian Stock Exchange have also sort of become very bullish about trying to list companies. So if we can list in Nigeria, we can list in any other company. And those are the 2 most viable. It's not impossible that we make so much money that we can give our dividends. But yeah, those acquisition and IPO are most likely the most likely exit. And of course, for an angel investor, you can always sell to someone in a Series A or a Series B, assuming that this is a pre-Series A. Hopefully, Michael gives us all of the 350.
Great. So you would support a right to exit for seed or angel investors in later stages?
We will.
Okay.
We will. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Of course, if the investor likes it, the investor has to like it, but yeah, we will. If, for example, we decide to become a major bank with 5 to 10 million customers, if we decide, it's not in our roadmap as of right now, but yeah, at that type of point, we'll probably want to reduce the number of people on the cap table anyways, so yeah.
Great. Any other comments, Jenny, Ben, Michael?
I mean, I love it. Thank you for the product demo, and we'll circle back with you and have a follow-up conversation for sure.
Well, yeah. So let's hear. Do you guys want to invest? How much are you guys investing? Ben?
I mean, yeah. My thought is, what a complex marketplace. And I don't know if you've been pitching foreign investors, but I can imagine they're kind of a little bit overwhelmed at first because we don't have the concept of a cooperative. We don't really know, okay, this is just new to us. That's probably a big obstacle for you, I'm guessing. And maybe that's why Nigerian investors are probably much easier.
Yes, it's been a problem, and one of the things that solved that is the demo. You see the app, it's no different from a regular bank app, and you understand that the process function as though you were using a regular bank for your savings, your loan, or investments, because that's really all it is. At the end of the day, a cooperative is like another type of microfinance institution And we provide the technology as well as that sort of interbank lending space to them and their members or their users. Yeah.
But appropriate to your comment, Ben, Terry Ann Chabet mentioned or commented, mobile wallets have ensured Kenyans access to financial services. It's super timely and sure winner in Africa. We frog leap credit cards for sure. So, we really need to look at the African markets, especially in fintech, very, very differently than the European, the US markets. And I think a clear understanding of what the opportunities are in Africa is important. So thanks for that comment. Great. So the results of the poll. So it looks like we have quite a bit of interest all around in Riby. So congratulations, Salami. So a few people are interested in investing in high amounts. So please feel free, if you are interested in participating in a syndicate round for Salami, let's put yourself in the chat, get in contact with us, and we'll try to put some folks together. All right, Jenny, Ben, any other comments? Michael, any other comments before we move on? Okay, well, wonderful. Well, thank you very much, Salami, for a great presentation. And, I think I certainly would be interested in looking further on into your business. So I would like to talk more about your current round. The valuation is interesting. And I'd love to understand a little bit more about the traction you have and the customers that you have looking to close in the next months.
Thank you very much. And thank you for everyone that came, especially our investors like EcoBC and Telecap. Thank you, Ben, Michael, and Jenny. And thank you, Jim.
And we'll connect you with the folks who have indicated interest in the chat box.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Great. Thank you.
All right.
All right, well, great. Thank you very much. And now over to Nad.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nad Dyer. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Eden. We are putting home chores on autopilot, and we're building a super app for domestic services. Prior to Eden, I founded a company called Andela as an engineer. And at Andela, I built all our training infrastructure. We trained about 1,500 engineers and connected them to distributed teams around the world, and also yielded about $50 million in revenue in the process before I stepped down. I considered my life's mission to 10x the quality of life in Africa. And while I was building Andela and also living with my current co-founders, Prosper and Sim, who worked with me at Andela, just like every busy professional in Nigeria, because labor is cheap and our time is so precious, we hire people to get stuff done for us around the home. And believe me when I say that we've hired at least 15 people in the last 5 years to get home chores done for us. And every single time, or most of the time, we were dissatisfied. And that's just because in general, the service supply is just like unprofessional, fragmented, unreliable. There's serious questions about quality, reliability, and safety. So we did more research and realized that Africans actually spend over $1 trillion every year on domestic services. And there are at least 60 million people on the continent who are earning above $15,000 a year, just like we did. So we asked, what if busy people could get access to quality, reliable, and safe services through one channel that they could trust? And that's how we built Eden. So on the back end, we find and vet service providers for home services. We generate a recurring schedule of these services for our customers. And then we add a layer of a concierge for the human touch and for trust. And the concierge makes sure that the providers execute the services according to that recurring schedule and according to our standards of service. So if you are a customer, the resulting experience that you would have as your concierge, I, Nad, will show up at your home at 10 a.m. on Monday morning. I have all your food for the week. I pick up your laundry bag. I bring it back 48 hours later. Everything is washed, ironed, and folded. I send the cleaners to your home on Fridays. If you need anything to be done any differently, or if you have any feedback, you just let me know, and I'll make sure everything gets done. And over time, your experience gets more and more automated as we master your preferences. And all you have to do is pay us on an average of $100 per month. A concierge can support about 35 customers. We keep around 30% of the $100. And in recent times, we've also seen interest from companies who want to offer Eden as a perk to their employees. And another thing that we are doing, because we're so hyper customer focused, we have been experimenting with vertically integrating some services. So now we even have our ghost kitchen, and that has enabled us to raise the bar for quality. And so far, since we launched in September of last year, we have about 210 customers. We're generating around $22,000 month to month, and we've had a retention of about 83% in the last 3 months. And like here are just some screenshots of what some people are saying about us online. People really love Eden because like what we stand for is getting people quality service that they have like never experienced before in our ecosystem. We plan to not just expand internationally, but also expand our categories over time. Today, we're offering food, laundry, and cleaning services. In the future, we're going to be adding groceries. We're going to be adding handyman services. We're also going to be adding education on subscription. And
I'm sorry to interrupt, Matt, but I just want to make sure that we're seeing the right screen here, because we still are on the problem screen. So are you sharing the correct screen here?
1 second. So, all right, so this is the product that I described. We have the app, you have the service partners, you have the concierge, and like we just manage that scheduled experience. And here's our business model. People pay an average of $100 per month on a subscription. We keep about 30%. And also, we're not having a B2B offering where companies are approaching Eden to offer Eden services as perks. Some of the strengths of our model include like free cash flows because people pay us way ahead of the time that we pay our providers. The concierge enables us to have high trust. We have high margins. And now we have integrated some of the services for quality, and we have our own ghost kitchen, and we're likely going to continue that strategy for other services. And like I mentioned, customers really love Eden. Here are some of the things they're saying about us. Now you can actually see it. We have about 210 of them, and in the last 3 months, we've averaged 83% in retention. We do plan to not just expand internationally, but we also are going to expand our categories over time. Today, we're just doing food, laundry, and cleaning. In future, we're going to do groceries. We're going to do medication subscription. The whole idea is anything that you need done in your home, as long as you need that thing to function, you can put it on Eden, set it, and forget it. We have put together a really good team. So we have a team of leaders and operators across the board. My co-founders, Prosper and Tim, I worked with at Andela before. And we also have Benga, who runs our supply side, who joined us from OPay, and we have Justin, who joined us from Jumia Food. And we were raising a round of 1.2 million for our seed. We have raised the money. It's led by Local Globe DC, who's based in London. And right now we're taking on more allocation just to expand the round. We're doing it at an 8.5 million valuation, but I am happy to offer investors from the Nest the same terms as Local Globe. And most of our funds are going to invest in our supply operations, expanding our service categories, building the product and engineering processes, and also for growth. And welcome to Eden. We're going to put everybody's homes on autopilot.
Great, thank you very much. Over to the angels.
Thank you, Nat. I mean, this is probably one of the best teams we've seen on the continent, and it's what you're doing is amazing. I think it would be very interesting to. I mean, I really love the slide you put together where we have like the projections for the AR. If you don't mind, like helping us maybe uncover a bit of this data and like your launch plans for in the, let's say, coming up couple of years, what are some of the cities you target? Because I presume it's focused on urban centers.
Yes, it is focused on urban centers. So we're thinking in Nigeria, we're thinking Lagos and Abuja. We're currently in Lagos only. Abuja is likely going to be the next place that we expand into. And then we're going to go next door to Accra in Ghana, just for that West African footprint. And then we're also looking at Cairo in Egypt, Nairobi in Kenya, Joburg and Cape Town in South Africa. And then we're likely going to expand into Francophone Africa, which I know you're like super jazzed about, Mikhail. So we would love any connections that we can have in those parts of the continent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, great job on the pitch. I know some of your Andela other co-founders in the US, so exciting to see this. If you were to design the kind of why now slide of the deck, what are the kind of confluence of things that are happening in the world that you feel like makes this the exact right time? So from kind of like macroeconomics, technology, why is this the perfect time to launch Eden?
Awesome. So there are a few things on the continent. There's a cultural shift. So previously, traditionally, a lot of people would hire maids and help to live with them and perform these things. But now people are understanding that a lot of the house help culture is actually fueled by child trafficking rings, and like people do not want people to stay in their homes anymore. Also because it's now becoming unsafe. We've seen situations where helps have actually like attempted to like harm or kill their employers. So most people do not want help in their homes anymore. That is one trend that we're seeing. Another trend that we're seeing is that the technology for automating and managing service operations now exists everywhere in the world. Like any more established market that you go into, you're going to see lots of startups who are performing home services. So the technology to make it possible already exists. And with COVID, what we are noticing is that as people spend more time at home, they're also willing to spend more money to make their lives more comfortable at home as well. And we have an opportunity to really ride the wave there, which is one of the reasons why like raising now is a very good time for us.
Anybody else? Ben?
Yes.
Michael?
Yeah. Okay, so of course you're familiar with HomeJoy. They raised $38 million from top shelf VCs, Google, Andreessen, first round. They operated from 2010, 2015, ceased operations. What went wrong with HomeJoy, and what lessons do you take away from them to not do?
Amazing. So I actually spoke with the general manager of HomeJoy New York way back to deeply understand what actually happened within the company. And I would say the two big like Achilles heels of HomeJoy were, one, they did not focus on the quality of service on the supply side before pumping growth. So one of the interesting things about service platforms is even if most people try to build marketplaces, when customers experience bad services on your platform, they don't blame the provider, they blame the platform. And so as a platform, it is your responsibility to ensure that the quality of the service or the quality of the supply is actually good. This is one of the reasons why we are exploring vertically integrating, because we want to have a lot more control on that side. The other side of the coin for HomeJoy was aside from not just focusing on the supply side, they were pumping a lot of money into growth. So when you're spending a lot more money to acquire customers than you actually make from them, then you're sort of in a quagmire when you don't have high retention because the quality of service is not good. And that's one of the problems that HomeJoy experienced. So they were basically just like bleeding cash month over month because they would spend a lot on acquisition. Lots of people would come into the funnel and retention was not great. In addition to these two top things, other things that we discussed were platform leakage, where people would just go directly to the cleaners and like circumvent the platform. One of the ways Eden's model protects against that is through the concierge. So remember, if I'm your concierge coming to your home to deliver these services, you don't know who the food provider, you don't know the laundry provider. The only time you interact with a provider is the cleaner because they have to show up to your home physically. And the way we protect against platform leakage in that case is through liability protection. Because if you were to transact directly and something went wrong in your home, then you or the cleaner would bear the full liability. And every Nigerian that I know would tell you today, that if you have a problem with a provider, you're completely on your own. The worst you can do is to get annoyed and like you can't really do anything about it. So that's why people like trust Eden. Until today, we've not had any instances of platform leakage.
Good answer. I love the attention to detail.
Mikhail, Jenny, any other comments or questions?
I mean, I would love to double click a little bit on the vertical integration. I think that's a very interesting angle, and it helps you, as you mentioned, like control better the quality of the service and the customer satisfaction. And do you mind expanding a bit more on like maybe the use of proceeds and what's your plan there?
Yeah. So 3 weeks ago, we just moved into our new kitchen. So we're just like setting all of that up. It was a significant like upfront investment. But like it only cost us around $20,000 to set up the kitchen, and that kitchen is going to be able to support 3,000 customers, which is like our Series A benchmark, because at 3,000 customers, you're going to be earning $1 million in annual revenue. Most of the spend is going to be on people, especially our engineering and operations team. I'm sure like subliminally you can tell that Eden is an operations heavy business, because like some of the things that we're talking about, you just cannot snap your fingers and automate. People have to do things. So building out all the technology infrastructure that's going to coordinate everything from A to Z is going to be where we spend the most.
There's a question from the audience about guaranteeing safety and theft. And there's some comments about background checks in Kenya. That's how that's handled in Kenya. How do you guys handle that?
Wonderful. So first and foremost, I mean, we start to protect our customers from the selection process for the providers. For example, today, most people who are finding domestic service people are working with freelancers in the market. Eden actually only works with small businesses. So as part of the vetting process, we make sure that you're a registered business. You've conducted background checks on your employees. You have some form of liability insurance. If you don't have that, that's okay. We can provide that for you. But everything that we do is to make sure that we actually have all the identities of all the employees of these service providers. In case something goes wrong, we have someone to hold, first and foremost. And then the next level of protection is what we do in case something goes wrong, because like no matter how much we prepare, something is definitely going to go wrong. And it is in those cases that our own special liability protection like is very useful. In the case that like someone goes to someone's house and like breaks something, or something goes missing, then we can step in and provide. We kind of look to Airbnb as our role models for that. In the very first few years, they had a lightweight liability protection program, and then there was that one incident where someone threw a party and really, really trashed the place. And after that, Airbnb basically expanded their liability protection program to cover over like I think it was $1 billion in damages that they can now cover these days.
Gotcha. Okay. There's also a question about community groups, and please, Ben, Jenny, Michael, if you have any other comments or questions, jump in. But there's also a question about community or user groups. Have you established user groups either on the supplier side or on the user side, getting feedback?
Oh, very good. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by user groups.
Yeah, Raj, feel free to jump in if you like. You asked this question.
Sure. Nice to meet you. Good presentation. So it's an interesting model,
thank you,
and obviously Airbnb is a great sort of benchmark for you. So I'm invested in a company called House. It used to be called As Sorted here, and what they do is they have cleaners to come and clean your house after Airbnb. People have stayed in Airbnb, and one of the things they do is one of the things I suggest to the founder is that there's a community of people who own properties that let them out on Airbnb, etc., and actually having that community work with each other, tell them what the issues are, etc. is quite helpful. That's also a community of cleaners, for example, and again how they work with each other. And the thing that I thought was very good they've got like a rating system for cleaners. So after every clean, you rate the cleaner, right? And that then moves them up and down in terms of whether or not they get more cleaning jobs. You also can take pictures of, if your house needs particular cleaning in particular areas, you can take a picture and send it to them. So that way you get actually a better service because the customers feel that they're cleaning in the right place, etc. I mean, I'm giving cleaning as an example because that's what's being used. So I think those are the kind of add-ons that actually will make your platform, much more defensible against other things, right? Because at the end of the day, you can go and find a cleaner, right? I can go find a cleaner today, right? Anyone can go find a cleaner. But what's the added advantage of coming to the platform? So it's insurance, it's the feedback, it's the customer service, all those things. So interested to hear your thoughts about that.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you, Raj. So in present day, our customers do have the ability to provide us feedback either through the concierge or directly through the app. In most cases, both of them. Now, in terms of like communities, aside from the companies that we work with where we access pools of users, one thing that we're thinking about on the supply side is this concept of hidden guilds. So if you, we talked about vertically integrating to have like a stronghold on the quality, right? But the catch-22 of vertically integrating is, how is it going to scale? And the way we want to scale it is through this concept of having guilds, where having figured out all the inputs that go into making service great by integrating, we're gonna export all of these learnings through an organization or a membership body that's like, it's gonna operate just like a guild, where we provide all the inputs from ingredients when it comes to food to like cleaning supplies when it comes to cleaning, and like facilities, tools, equipment, all of that stuff we're gonna provide. But also it's going to let us just like have that pool of suppliers within our community. They're dependent on us to continue to deliver great services, and they also like are close to us, and we can continue to help them with things like continuous training and development. So that's how we're thinking about community on the supply side in the long term. In the short term, it's just a community of, it's just on the demand side where we just have a community of users that we interact with week over week.
Well, great. Well, thank you for the pitch and the answers. Love to hear what Jenny, Ben, and Michael think about investments.
Yeah, sure. So I'm trying not to be biased because I'm more familiar with this than with cooperative financial, but I'm positive somebody's going to win this space. And then we need to figure out who it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be Eden. So I guess I can say I'd love to learn more.
Okay. So
yeah,
we'll put you on the list for the, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I would agree. Great team, great beginning traction. Have some concerns around focus, just trying to do so many things, cleaning, cloud kitchen, all those things at the beginning. So just something I'd love to dig into a little bit more, but seems like, you're on a great path. So very exciting.
Yeah, same thing, seconding everything, Ben and Jenny just shared. I mean, I think one of the very best teams on the continent today, and there is precedent like, Sweep South and like others in on the continent that have been doing well. So wishing all the best and very excited to hear more.
Yeah, it's a crowded space. I mean, there are a lot of companies trying to do this gig management play, and I'm curious as to who's going to win. So I'd like to find out more as well, given the strength of the team, especially.
Yeah, Jim, go
ahead.
Put me into. I didn't vote, but keep me in the loop. I know the space a little bit, so I always say that a little bit of knowledge is very dangerous. So I'm extremely dangerous with a little bit of knowledge, but there we are. Excellent.
All right. Well, the audience vote came out interestingly enough. There are a lot of there's good amount of interest, and love to see if some of those folks who indicated interest might want to join a syndicate for potential investment through the Nest. Well, great. I think our hour is up today. I want to thank everybody, Jenny, Ben, Michael, for joining, and of course, Nad and Salami for pitching. Great presentations, great teams, great markets, and I really do hope we're able to do something together with you guys. So on that note, just a really quick summary. I hope you guys are able to join again in the future. Next week, we have another session on Nigeria, and in partnership with Lofty Inc. And then we also have a Francophone version of that on August 19th. Is that right?
Yeah, it's going to be West Africa.
West Africa, great. And that will also be on Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific time?
Yeah, same time.
Wonderful. And then we resume September 3rd and 10th with additional shows. So I do hope you guys are able to join us, and I will see you next week. Thanks, everybody.